Hi, it's the Rawesome Vegan Gal here, and today I am doing part 2 of a video. I started the introduction of the products for a company called Wilderness Family Naturals. Also, their products are called Wildly Organic. I guess that's just kind of the company that makes it, and they kind of gave it another name for their products. So they make all different types of nuts that are soaked and dehydrated, so they're easier to digest, coconut products. So the recipe I'm making, I call this Coco-Nutty Superfood Treats, hence cocoa for the coconut products and nutty for the nuts. So how I'm going to do this, I'm going to explain to you what I'm doing and show you most of it. I'm going to prepare in front of you, but I did do something in advance, so I just wanted to tell you. So I took a bunch of the nuts. Let's see, the nuts that I used, I'll just show you. I did not use Brazil nuts because they're harder to blend. Another option you could do is use a fine grater, but you just would have to be careful that you don't cut your fingers. So, and also I will have a link below to their website, I forgot to mention. And I keep all my nuts in the freezer, so they're a little bit sweaty right now, the bags. So what I use is the almonds and American Native Heirloom pecans. And then I also use the walnuts. And finally, the other one was the Texas pecans. So I just want to put those aside because I don't need them right now. So those were the 4 that I used. Just pardon me for a moment. I have all my stuff here. So what I did was I have this little personal blender, and I'll show that to you as well. So it's, hold on. So it's from a company called Tribest, and I will have a link below to their website too. So this is their personal blender. I don't know if they make this model anymore, but it's nice because it comes with these BPA-free containers and also some glass ones. And then it has one for grinding and also for blending. But this is not for something you'd make like a huge amount. It's for smaller amounts. And I don't have a regular blender. And then it has an adapter if you use for glass. So I just wanted to show you that. So I didn't do this blending process as part of the video for a couple of reasons. First, it takes a lot more time. And second of all, because I don't have a plug in the area where I'm making this video. So I just want to put this back. So I have limited space, and I just don't want to take up as much time in the video. So just to explain to you what I did here. So I did this with the part of the blender that does for the grinding. So this is what it looks like, just for you to see. It's a stainless steel. I believe the blade. So what I did was I took a bunch of those nuts. I took about 1 to 2 ounces, this is the little cup I did. And I guess the pecan, not the pecans, the walnuts and the almonds take more to blend, but most of it did blend pretty good. I pulse it, and then it kind of gets sticky, and I can show you how it came up on the top here. So it's kind of doughy, which is what I wanted to make the treats. Now, when you make the treats, you can make them in many different ways. I mean, I can put them in this little cup as a mold, or you can put it like flat, if you have like a flat pan, or on like a parchment paper in a pan, and make a flat sheet, like a thin layer. If you want to freeze it, and then they'd be like little chunky treats, or if you want to make them into little balls, you could do that. You know, you can do however you like, or other kinds of shapes if you have a mold that you can make shapes out of. Or it can go in like on a plate, and then you could use this as make like little cookies out of them. So the options are endless. And then in order to make it, this is kind of thick, but I may add some liquid. So instead of using water, I was going to show you some options. So I have some products, and I also will put the information below as well for the products. So I have this Genius smoothie. It's a vanilla cinnamon from Genius Juice, and I did videos for them as well. And then I have Harmless Harvest organic coconut water. I've also done some videos for them you can check out. And the other option too, if you want to make it more a probiotic kind of rich with beneficial bacteria, you can use some of the Harmless Harvest. This is their unsweetened, plain, organic cultured coconut, which is a yogurt. So non-dairy, or I should say dairy-free. So if you want to do it like that, but you'd only use a little bit of an amount to kind of get the consistency you want, but you don't want it to be watery. So, but I'm not going to use this one today. So I will actually go and put this back in the fridge so it stays fresh. So bear with me for just a moment. right back. So what I'm going to do now is take out the contents from the container. And like I said, most of it did blend. There's some on the bottom. I see a lot of I think the pecans and some of the almonds didn't, not pecans, I keep saying pecans, the walnuts I could tell, and the almonds. But I got a good amount, so I'm just going to put it in the bowl here. And you see it's doughy. That's what I wanted, kind of like a cookie dough. So I think there's enough to make just like some treats. And I'll just leave the rest that didn't get doughy in the container. So what you could opt to do too is add a little liquid to the container and kind of to be able to blend that. But you'd probably use the other blade. But this is fine. It's okay. I could eat those nuts too by themselves. Or this could be, you know, I can just break it up with the spoon and put it in, because it could be a little crunchy too. But you don't want to have such big pieces that you're not getting the dough. That's the idea, is that it should be doughy. So it worked pretty good, considering that it's just like a little simple blender, small blender. So, but I think it did pretty good. Or the other option is to use less ingredients. Use only 1 ounce of the nuts, and use less of the walnuts and the almonds, which take a little more to blend. The pecans and I think blend pretty easily. So, and that's why I didn't opt for the Brazil nuts, because that's another product that I have as well. But I think this is pretty good for what I did as far as the blending. So, okay, so that, I think I'm going to leave that aside now. And then what I'm going to do is going to start adding the ingredients. And I may add some liquid, I may not. I just haven't decided as yet if it's necessary. So what I'm going to add to this is something I didn't taste before, is the coconut flour, which I talked about last time. I'm just going to add a little bit, kind of for it to like stick together. And it's just flour, that's all it is. So let's see, this spoon's a little bit wet. So I'm going to opt for a clean, dry spoon here. I can find one. I think I have one right here. So I'm going to take out, maybe like a couple of spoonfuls. And then, I think that's enough. And then the other powders I'm going to use, some other powders. I'm going to also use Carob powder, which I've also done videos for this brand. So this is called Australian Carob Company, and this is I have their roasted carob powder, but I also have some raw carob powder, but it was sold by another company. I think I'm going to use the raw one for this. But I'm not sure that the other company is selling it, so I'm not going to mention the name of the company. But it's from Australian Carob Company. And again, I'll put that information below the video. So I don't want to mix, and I think I'm just going to pour it. So what I've said this in the last video, when you want to pour from a bag, out straight from the bag, and it has one side that it has like a little kind of, I don't know how to explain it, like where it would get stuck in it, so I would have to pour from the other side, is what I wanted to say. So I'm just going to do maybe also a couple of spoonfuls, just kind of eyeball it. Like this, it doesn't get stuck in that other side, and especially with these powdery things, they tend to get stuck, and then you can't close the bag. You might have to put it in another bag, which I do anyway. So, okay, so that's that powder. So we're going to do first the rest of the powders. There's some other powders here I wanted to do to show you as well. So I just have to move that over here. So I also have, and these bags actually stopped closing properly because of the problem I just mentioned. So I have 2 products here. I'm not sure if they're both being sold still with this company. It's called from Navitas Organics. This is their organic Lucuma powder, and it's a low glycemic fruit powder, and it's kind of like a sweetener, but it's not super sweet. So I'm just going to pour some again as well in here. And this one already is no longer functional as a resealable bag. So again, I put like a spoon in there. And then their other one that's really nice is their organic acai powder. And acai has some really good benefits and high antioxidants and omegas. So and this one, it tends to just get stuck in those grooves. That's the word I was looking for. So I don't even try to close it, or You can, take a knife or something, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to pour some in here. So it's got a really rich kind of bluish purple color, I guess. Oops, and there goes the oxygen, whatever it's called, absorber. Goes right in the, have to watch for that. Okay, so just a little bit, some of that. And then, just to finish up with the powders here, I also have some cinnamon powder. I'm going to put some of that in here. And again, it's oops, I'm dropping things here. Don't mind me. Cinnamon powder. And then the other powder I have is some ginger powder. I thought, give it a little bit of a kick if you like. I mean, you could add other things to it that you prefer. Okay, so a little bit of that. Not too much if you don't like it too spicy. So now I'm just going to mix this up with the spoon over here just to kind of get a little mixture together. See how it is as far as being able to stick together. It's not going to quite stick together like this. I think it needs a little bit of liquid to kind of help it out. I mean, you could also add other things like dates. I also have from the same company, the Australian Carob company, for a little bit of sweetener, and it might add a little thickness to it, is their very unique product that nobody's done, is their pure carob syrup. So that's a really cool product. So I may add that, but before I do that, I'm opting, because I've already put cinnamon, and this is a thicker, I'm just going to use some liquid from the Harmless Harvest coconut water. We're going to add a little bit, but again, very gingerly, so to speak. No pun intended, but yes, I did use ginger. So I have a little cup here, cute little cup. I'm just going to pour some in here and add just a little. It's got a pinkish color. That's natural antioxidants from the coconut. So just pour a little bit in there. And then pour some in here. You could see that. I didn't use all of it, but just to kind of mix it around to get the to get it to kind of adhere. That's a little better, I think. Yeah, it definitely needed the liquid. It definitely helped it stick together more. A little bit more from what I have in here. I could always drink it if I don't use it. Again, you don't want to overdo it. Opt for less is more, but there's always a remedy to it. You can add some coconut flour or some of the other powders. So if it gets too loose and you want it to be thicker, that will dry it out, as we say. So I think this is pretty good for kind of like a cookie dough base. So it could be a Coco-Nutty superfood cookie, too. Depends how you want to make it, but it doesn't have to be baked. And you can eat it just like this, too, if you choose. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I'm going to add, I think, a little bit more here that's left. Yeah, I think that worked pretty good. It got thicker. You can see that. And it's sticking together. But I think this was a better idea than to try to do it in the blender. I think just blending the nuts by themselves to get them into a blended state and then doing it like this was, I think, a much better idea. So yeah, that works pretty good. And it's a good consistency now. And there's plenty here. So, and it's pretty thick. I might just add this little drop that's left here. I don't think it'll make it too watery. No, I think we'll just finish up what I have. And then that'll add a nice flavor to it. Also, as well, if you've never had that coconut water, it's really good. It's naturally sweet, organic. So yeah, that gave a nice, and it smells really good, actually. So it's really nice, a thick consistency, like a cookie. Again, you can make these as cookies and bake them in the oven, or you don't have to even bake them. Like I said, they could just be like this, unbaked. Okay, so that worked out really good, and I think I've used almost everything. I might add a little bit of the carob syrup just to see how that would be, and I could actually taste it first to see what I think of it before I do that. So I'll use one of these spoons because I don't think I'm going to be adding anything else. So just to give a taste. Sorry, there was a little fly flying around. That's nice. I taste the nuts. It's not very sweet. I mean, the Lucuma didn't add really much sweetness to it, nor the coconut. water. So I may add a little bit of this carob syrup. I think that would be nice. Just to see if that'll add something to it. But it does have a nice taste. Yeah, this is probably going to add some nice sweetness to it. So let me try that. But it does have a cookie dough type of a flavor. I think I got a nut in here that didn't grind, but this is okay because most of it is thick, so it's nice to have little chunky pieces. I can add those other chunky pieces to it as well. Now that it's already in a thick state, those won't affect it, but it'll give it a little texture. So let me see how this is now in comparison to how it was as far as flavor. Oh yeah, it added a bit of sweetness. Not super sweet, but nice. I could still add a little more. No harm in that. And it's not very gingery, so if you like more ginger, you could always add more ginger. I don't mind if it's a little sweeter. Again, it's carob, so it's not as sugar. So it's safe for everybody to use. Oh, that little buggy keeps coming by. He must want to try something. He probably smells it. It's a little guy, really small. I can see him with my eye. Okay, so let's see how this is now. And it got pretty dark because of the I'm trying to think what would make. I guess it's just the nuts, the acai too. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and try it with this. That's good. So I think what I'll do now that it has enough thickness. Add some of these unchopped or partially chopped nuts into there, into the dough. Or I may just eat one. Here, eat the almond. Because that was a little too big. But I have some pieces of walnuts in here. So now what I was going to do is the other product that I didn't use that is their coconut flakes. They're small. I was going to roll it up. And then sprinkle some on. So I may just do that on the plate here. Just take some, like this. And it's, like I said, thick enough and make it into whatever kind of a treat you like, whether it's square, round. I mean, I can make it into a cookie, like that. And then sprinkle on, now that my hands are sticky from it. I'll go wash them. Just bear with me for just a second. Sorry about that. I could have put some coconut in a little bowl here, or a little cup. I didn't think to do that first. So I'm going to take, this is the coconut flakes that they have. They're dehydrated, unsweetened. And sprinkle some on top of that. And then I might add more of the carob syrup. I like it a little sweeter. Okay, I'm going to pour some of this on here, just for a little. And there's pieces of the walnuts sticking through, so it looks kind of nice. Like a little cookie. I'm just going to sprinkle a little. I don't want to overdo it because I want you to be able to see what it looks like. So just for effect, and it gives it a little contrast to the color. So, put this back here. So this is what it looks like now. And it's more of a moist treat. So again, if you want it to be like harder, you can always put it in the freezer to harden, but I'm just going to go ahead and taste it like this. It's nice. And you have a little bit of coconut flakes on top. And I got the little crunch from the nuts that didn't grind all the way, which is actually nice. So this was nice. This was fun for me. I hope you'll definitely try it out. So again, this is for the brand or company Wilderness Family Natural, and their products Wildly Organic. I did the almonds. I'm not going to show them again. They're sitting over there. I'm not kidding up, but the almonds. There's two kind of pecans, walnuts. Also use their coconut flour and their coconut flakes. So definitely check this out, and hope you try this recipe. And I thank you for watching. It's the Rawesome Vegan Gal.